So welcome everybody to the stream. I just want to say hello to everybody once again to another stream. We are going to be playing, of course, Kriegsmarine. We're going to be learning a lot about what this game adds to the entire Order of Battle universe. It's really going to add quite a lot, not just in terms of the game itself, but in terms of the overall game, the overall Order of Battle series, really. So, the war in Africa has been shifting back and forth since the arrival of the German Africa Corps. To break the stalemate, the Allies have mustered a powerful invasions fleet, aiming to open a second front through the coasts of Morocco. In an attempt to delay and disrupt this invasion as much as possible, the Kriegsmarine have been dispatched to engage the Allied escorting fleet. The bulk of our ships will be directed to make contact with the enemy as soon as possible. In addition, a smaller flotilla can be sent south to cut the enemy's line of retreat. Starting from these positions, we must turn eastward and destroy any opposition along the way to the Moroccan coast. Very, very cool. If we succeed in reaching the Allied troop transports and supply ships, the enemy will have no other option but to retire and abort the operation. To assure the preservation of our strength, badly damaged ships should head for the Spanish coastline and return to base. And I'm just a little annoyed, just a tiny bit, and I'll show you why. Being half Portuguese, Faro, it's actually Portuguese territory. Now, of course, the Spanish coastline doesn't encompass this area right here. This is Portugal. Over here to the east of Faro is Spain. Just a little nitpicking that I must do. So anyway, we're going to get started here and do our absolute best to crush the enemy. And hello, welcome back, Mitrandir, the artistocrats, of course, the creators here of the game. I hope you guys are going to put in a Portuguese flag. Make Agrippa happy. Of course, we've got Kake, hi all, and Woolever. Come on, luck indeed. So what we're going to start with, guys, is we actually started on the 3rd difficulty setting. There's 5 difficulty settings. We're starting on 3. I think that's a little more fair, to be honest with you. And I think it's just going to work out for us a little bit more. Now, we're going to go ahead and essentially try to take out as many Allied ships as possible. Of course, moving as we do, trying to avoid any possible enemy submarines. I will be trying to detect submarines as this goes on. But while I'm playing this particular stream, I'm also going to be sharing with you some of the amazing features that Kriegsmarine is going to bring to the entire Order of Battle universe. Now, one of those new features is firing efficiency and hit avoidance. And basically what this means is this new mechanic is going to completely alter how naval combat is played in the Order of Battle series. Now, both movement and range are going to play a part in damage calculation. Now, how is that going to work? Well, for instance, and I'm just going to take these 2 ships as an example. Let's say that this is your ship right here, the BB Bismarck, of course, and this ship right here, the DD Type 1936, is an enemy ship. If you stay within that range for the next turn, for instance, 2 tiles, you're going to do quite a lot of damage. And the reason this is because you don't have to calibrate your guns. If you move a tile away and fire, you're going to do less damage because now your guns have to recalibrate. This, of course, makes things a little more difficult. Another thing to keep in mind is if you're moving, so for instance, if I take this guy and move over here to the east and then fire, it's going to be harder for the enemy ship to hit me because I am going to be moving during his turn. It's essentially going to sort of replay the movement capabilities. Let's take a look here. Not today, Voldevar, but I think you'll like to see this. Be a separate DLC, says Artistocrats. Fair enough. I will actually pay $5 for that DLC because it means that much to me. We've also got the arrival of seaplanes, and unlike other parts of Order of Battle, these seaplanes can do damage. They can bomb targets, they can do some serious damage. We're also introducing an entirely new thing here called the Seaplane Tender. And these are some pretty beautiful ships, sort of, not exactly an aircraft carrier, but sort of a smaller version of an aircraft carrier, obviously much cheaper to deploy. It's not going to cost you hundreds of coins. It's going to be pretty simple, pretty straightforward, and these things are just beautiful. The fact that these even exist to, of course, tend to these seaplanes. Of course, these can't tend to regular planes, only seaplanes, but that's pretty good, in my opinion. So one of our main goals, of course, during this scenario is to try and do as much damage to the American and British fleets as we can, destroy as many of their ships as we can, and we're going to get right on that. So I'm going to take a look here. Now, I could fire right away at this American ship, but I want to see if my torpedoes would actually do more damage. I'm not sure. Taking a look here, I don't think they will. Just want to make absolutely sure. So we're going to go ahead and just regular fire here. There we go. Beautiful. 1 damage. I love it. I'm also going to bring in a beautiful Junkers 87, a beautiful Stuka, excuse me, and bombard this area. Wow, 4 damage. Excellent job from the Stuka. Now, once again, the Stuka cannot land on one of the seaplane tenders because, well, they're made for seaplanes. But we've got the beautiful Graf Zeppelin. This aircraft carrier is one of Germany's finest, and this can certainly deal with, of course, housing our planes. I want to keep him away from the enemy ships as much as I can because I really want him just dealing with our planes. He doesn't need to get in the fight. He's got no actual guns of his own. We'll move forward and try to sink these ships. Once again, I'll never get tired of the sinking ships in this particular game. It's just an awesome feature. Being able to watch that ship go all the way down to Davy Jones' locker, never to be seen again. Now, clearly, if we attack the cruiser New Orleans, we're going to take some damage. So I'm actually just going to bring the Stuka. Actually, this is a Messerschmitt, I believe, excuse me, a Bf-109 fighter. Let's see, we can maybe strafe the enemy here. Unfortunately, not doing too much damage, but at least we didn't get hit ourselves. And I'm going to bring the Cruiser Deutschland over here about 2 tiles away. Open fire on the enemy and hopefully send him to the bottom of the ocean. And there we go. He is finished. There's nothing he can do. Let's go ahead and see if we have any other active units that we haven't moved. So this unit is actually, and I just noticed, I'm glad that I went back. We can fire at this unit. The distance probably means we're not going to be able to hit him, or not be able to do any damage anyway, but we're going to try anyway. So there we go. We can fire with this ship as well. Okay, beautiful. There we go. So even if it says 0-0, remember, that's just an estimation. It's just a probability. So you should still try to take the shot, of course, and damage the enemy ships here. Okay, I think we've pretty much maxed out all of our shots. Indeed, we have. Yes. Oh, awesome. The aristocrats mentioned that, and staying on a parallel course means you can consistently keep broadside to the target. That's very, very cool. Thank you, Woollever. I think you're going to be very pleased with this particular DLC. It's actually, so far, my favorite DLC the Aristocrats have put out. It's just awesome. I love having Atlantic Fleet combat in the game. And as you can see, we've got that guy at the bottom, the very bottom. Unfortunately for him, but not unfortunately for us. So let's end the turn here, turn it over to the enemy. Wait a minute, we've got a submarine. Now, one thing guys have to understand, a new thing that we've added to the submarine mechanics is surface submarines are a lot harder to spot now. So even if we have to go to the surface here, it's going to be harder for the enemies to spot us. They need to be within 1 tile of distance to actually see us. Nonetheless, I like to take the safe option and stay beneath the water. However, the problem is we have a limited submersion time. As you guys can probably imagine, submarines do need a method of propulsion, and this battery can only be charged while essentially out of the water. So be careful, because eventually the submarine will need to emerge from the water. But for now, we're just going to send some torpedoes to the enemy. Beautiful. And you can actually hear the alarms going off on the enemy ship signaling a torpedo approach. And we're going to end the turn there and turn it over to the enemy. Of course, at this point, and the aristocrats may be able to help me out on this little bit of history, the French, I believe this is Vichy France. Of course, these French are pro-Axis. They're not the French that, of course, were initially attacked. That's the reason that right now they are an enemy force, and they're trying to defend Casablanca, of course, from the enemy. Beautiful Casablanca. And our goal here is to sink 12 warships and inflict 12 damage to battleships. Secondary objectives: no naval enemy leaves the map, and protect the French victory point for 8 turns. That's going to be extremely difficult. Protecting that victory point will not be easy, but we're going to try to get over there anyway. But let's go ahead and keep chasing the enemy here. So I'm going to try to stay, now we're 2 tiles away. I'd like to stay still 2 tiles away, but move. Open fire here. And of course, like the aristocrats mentioned, our broadside remains aimed here at the enemy. We've also got primary guns that we can use with our battleships, but right now we're using cruisers down here to the south, so we don't have that mechanic right here in this area of the battlefield. But I am going to send some torpedoes that I think are going to damage this cruiser very seriously. Beautiful. 3, even better than I expected. We'll do the same with this guy. Now remember, when you fire torpedoes, it's going to take 3 turns for those torpedoes to recharge. But still, pretty interesting stuff. There we go. We'll also bring in the Junkers. The beautiful Stuka Die Bomber. Love the sound of those winning engines, that terrible roar. And actually, some Stukas had a set of, I'm not sure if microphones wouldn't be the right word, a set of speakers mounted on top of them to sound even more terrifying as they were attacking. Obviously, as the war continued, those speakers became kind of a problem because it let people know that a Stuka dive bomb attack was coming and clearly didn't help anybody but the enemy. So look at that, I was wrong. The aircraft carrier actually can fire. I actually didn't know that. That's something I've just learned. Let's go ahead and take our Arado AR. And I believe this one might be a scout plane. I don't see any torpedoes on him. So, yeah, he might just be a scout plane. Nonetheless, we need him because we need to spot an enemy battleship. That's really what we're trying to kill. See if this is a battleship. Nope, that's the New Orleans cruiser, once again. Basically, what if, says Artistocrats. Indeed. Alarm, says Two Nuts. Absolutely. And Artistocrats mentioned correctly that you can only get the Graf Zeppelin this early if you can invest in a specific Flugzeugträger specialization. So that's definitely something you need to consider before you just go running in with your beautiful, and it really is a beautiful cruiser, Graf Zeppelin. I mean, just a beautiful piece of machinery there. Let's see. Let's go ahead and try to open fire here. In fact, we might be able to do more damage with our torpedoes. But yeah, there's a chance. We see that 1+ as opposed to a 1. So the chances are we could probably do more damage here. Still did the same, and I don't usually like to waste torpedoes against destroyers since they're pretty small ships to begin with. In this case, I went ahead and did that. Maybe not the greatest thing to do in the world, but I went ahead and tried. So let's go ahead and just give them a broadside here. Remember, guys, to get a victory, we've got to take out 12 enemy ships. I'm hoping here I can show you guys the primary guns function, which allows us to fire some very powerful primary guns here at the enemy. I'm going to fire them at the DDE class, the Destroyer E class over here. That is just a vicious blast, doing 2 damage there to the enemy. Definitely something you want to use, but of course, just like torpedoes, your primary guns, I believe, do have to recharge. Let's go ahead and open fire. Once again, trying to do as much damage to the enemy here as possible. Feuer! For the Kriegsmarine! This is an interesting ship. The support ship can do damage, but it also has the ability to lay mines. I wouldn't necessarily use it on this battle, but certainly on battles where you're being chased by the enemy or you're in consistent naval fights with the enemy, or even to close off a coastline that you deem important, you could use those mines, and they can be very, very helpful. So I'm going to move our Admiral Hipper here. We're just crushing the Allied fleet at the moment. I want to keep that going. Of course, our Schnellboot. How could we forget about our good old Schnellboot? This is one of our seaplane tenders, I believe. I could be wrong on that. The Artistocrats would correct me if I was. So once we need to refuel that seaplane or, of course, drop him down somewhere, we can do that. Just making sure I moved everybody. I think we still have a beautiful submarine to move, a U-boat, and I'm going to actually move him over here first. Eventually he's going to have to surface, but hopefully not for a few more turns. Let's end the turn. Come on, hold out, France! They're going straight for the Graf Zeppelin, so we know we've got submarines around us. We might want to use the sonar to try to spot them. Alright, oh boy. Got some British ships coming to assist their friends. They're still going for the Graf Zeppelins. The poor Graf Zeppelin, leave it alone! Leave the Graf Zeppelin alone! Enemy's getting really close here. They might be trying to launch some torpedoes. Or, yeah, trying to hit the Schnellboot. Understood. Here we go. We've got another cruiser, but still no battleships. Remember, part of this mission is trying to damage enemy battleships as well as sink enemy ships overall. So we do need to locate an enemy battleship, or two, really, and put them to waste. Look at that. It doesn't look too good for our French allies at all. A lot of transport ships, of course. So let's go ahead and get a look over here. We'll jump into the chat, of course. Our aristocrats mentioned the Graf Zeppelin was sort of finished towards the end of the war. It can be armed with bombs, torpedoes when on the carrier. Well, very, very cool. Woliver already says going to pull the trigger and buy the Pacific Pack. Bills can wait. They can always wait when you're talking about one of our games. You can always wait on builds. We're not going to pay the bills for you, but we might try to call the landlord and see if we can work out a deal. Maybe. I can't promise you that. We're going to go ahead and open fire here, getting a perfect shot right in front of us. And one more shot, and this guy should be finished. Although I do want to consider using sonar pretty soon here, but not here in the northwestern waters. We can use it towards the south. Beautiful. Goodbye, British, Americana, I believe. So let's move forward with the 1936 destroyer. And I'm going to try to hit him with some torps. So let's see if it works. Beautiful. Do the same over here, although we can't go for the torpedo strike. We'll stay at the same distance. We actually should have moved, because if he decides to fire at us, we're going to take less damage. But basically keeping the same distance, so 2 tiles at least. I think this would be... yeah, this might be too many. Let's do this. Fire a torpedo. So yeah, as you guys can see, the cooldown for the main guns is 1 turn. Of course, you can still fire those secondary guns, and they're very powerful. It's not like they're pea shooters. They can do a tremendous amount of damage, especially coming from a battleship like the Bismarck. Let's go ahead and move forward. Okay, not bad, not bad. It could have been better, but we'll accept it. We don't have any real reason to drop any mines as of right now, but we do have a reason to continue searching for enemy battleships. So I'm going to actually head to the east, and I already see an enemy ship nearby. That is not a battleship, though. That's another cruiser, but perhaps the battleship is this one right here that we can't yet see. So I am going to take one of these destroyers. Let's see if we have one here in the southern waters. Yes, and we're going to try and do this, pop the sonar. First, let me move the Graf Zeppelin back a bit. Do some sonar. I don't see any submarines. I know they're somewhere here, but I don't see them, which means that they get away this turn. Beautiful, and I believe our Stuka can finish off this guy. I certainly hope so. Beautiful, yes! Finished him off completely. Now we have to keep heading east. Of course, we want to go as close to the invasion as possible. That's probably where they're going to have most of their armaments, most of their ships. And we'll also move this Messerschmitt a little farther out into the ocean, kind of like a scout plane, to see if we can spot anything. I don't expect to necessarily see anything, but we might as well try and wait. And the Schnellboot also has some torpedoes. Unfortunately, getting them close is a bit dangerous. And we're about 1 tile away from being able to use those torpedoes, which is definitely a pain. All right, let's see. We have to wait 1 more turn for those torpedoes to prepare, and I'll actually just leave that submarine there. I'm hoping that the enemy's not going to notice. If I recall, the hull for the first one was laid by 42-43, but it was never finished, says Kriegsmarine. Probably correct. Abschafft. Yeah, okay, let's continue. So here we go. Ending the turn at this point. See who can still move. No, I know you can move, but you stay put. Oh boy. That is a battleship, boys and girls. Absolutely a battleship. That's our target. Going to try to hit our plane, but he missed completely, which makes me quite a happy Kriegsmarine admiral. There we go, some torps going to one of our destroyers, or one of our cruisers, I should say. Okay, back to us. And as you can see, we've sunk 3 of those 12, but we still have a lot of work to do, as you can imagine. Now, we can fire a torpedo. We're definitely going to do that. And I'm hoping that the Wichita 42 can be sunk just by torpedo fire. May or may not be able to happen. But once again, I think I'm going to keep moving east because I want to get to that battleship as quickly as possible. So I might try and deal with the New Orleans, but most of my guys are going to continue moving. So we'll keep moving with the 1936. Try to stay 2 tiles away, of course. Try and just keep our calibration at the level it's supposed to be and also make us a lot harder to hit in the next few turns. Not bad, not bad. And we can fire our primary guns, and you better bet we're about to just fire them right on top of the New Orleans. I feel bad for your crew, but what can I do? And obviously with the Schnellboot, we can use that torpedo, but I believe this ship is in the way. We don't want to hit our own ship. They must feel terrible getting taken out by a Schnellboot. Of course, the ammunition cache exploding, and she's going to go down like a rock. There's no saving that ship. Let's keep on moving. Try to see if there's any enemies in our line of sight. So far, I don't see anything. We could deal with this British ship right here, but I'm not sure we want to waste time doing that when we could get to the battleship and eventually just let him sort of wear himself out chasing us. I think that's probably what I'm going to do. So he gets lucky this turn. Oh, look at that. He doesn't get lucky. We can still fire. But as you guys could see, we could have done 3 damage to him had we stayed in that position. Now that we've moved, we're forcing our men to recalibrate the guns, so we're not going to do as much damage. As you can see, no damage at all. Those shells flew right overhead, maybe hitting the deck, but really not doing a damn bit of damage at all. Hello, Self-Searcher. Welcome. Steinkuhl. Very, very good to see everybody here. All right, let's see. How much fuel do you have? You have 10 fuel efficient. Oh, that's efficiency, isn't it? You'll be okay. You will survive. Okay. So we've spotted the battleship. I'm just going to keep the plane here because I want to keep them in our sights. We'll bring back our fighter, of course. Try to get him on the cruiser. Maybe not this turn, but very soon. And we've still got a submarine hunting us. Now, we know he can't fire for a few turns, but there could be more than one. We've got to keep that possibility in mind. Enemy's just out of reach here. Let's see if our Stuka can get to him maybe next turn. And of course with our sub, let's try to at least, well, we won't necessarily move him this turn, but we'll start moving him around to sort of keep him out of the enemy's range. Danke, meine Herr. I like the German. Everyone is speaking the German. It's good. If you're on the Kriegsmarine, you must learn a few words of Deutsche. All right, let's see. Yeah, I think that guy's finished. We'll end the turn here. Who can't move? Who can't move? Lies. You can move just fine. Let's go ahead and end the turn here. Enemies coming in to try and assist in destroying the Graf Zeppelin, probably. He might be trying to get the Messerschmitt, but I don't think he's going to be very lucky. And that battleship is moving away. No, I don't want that to happen. Of course, we can converge in the middle and find him anyway, but I really want to keep that guy on our sights. And we need to find another one, because remember, we need to do 12 damage to the battleships, which means that we need to kill one battleship and do at least 2 damage to the other one. And that's going to be definitely a struggle. Oh, there's the sub. At least we can see him. He's going to fire some... No, that was actually a very bad move by the AI, and usually the AI is excellent here, but they basically just popped out of the water so we could spot them, and instead of trying to submerge, they just let us know where they were. So we're going to open fire on them. Try to get rid of this American submarine. Probably the worst submarine captain I've seen. And as you guys can see, to show you the distance modifier, so check this out. If we go here, we're only going to do 3 damage. If we go here, however, which is the same amount of tiles as we are at now, we not only move a little bit farther forward and also are on the move, so we're harder to hit next turn, but that damage is going to remain at 4, as if we never left this position, because we don't need to recalibrate our guns. So let's go ahead. Beautiful, wunderbar. And we continue to destroy the American fleet. Must have been terrible, and I can only imagine how bad, but it's one of my nightmares to be on a submarine as it's sinking. I mean, there are a few things that I find scary as that, but that's definitely one of the most terrifying. And I wonder if there were any survivors once a submarine was hit trying to get out of the submarine as it was sinking. Obviously, you would have to wait for the actual sub to fill with water and then try to escape. If the pressure itself didn't kill you, maybe you could swim to the surface, although I doubt it. And we know there is a battleship there, but I'm not going to target it right now. We try to get this guy added to our kill list, of course. Score our fighter. We got 2 more ships down here. They're actually getting some pretty good shots on the poor Stuka. But let's see if our torpedoes can increase the damage done to this cruiser, and I think they can. Wunderbar, das ist gut. Now I made a little mistake there. We probably should have stayed before firing. Because of that, we didn't really do much damage, if any, to the enemy. But let's keep trying to get our fleets to essentially meet in the center. That's where they're going to maximize their potential, and we do want to try to find that battleship. I don't want to keep them out of my sight, so I'm just going to keep this beautiful Arado AR, sort of the scout plane, to just keep an eye on the enemy, and we'll keep, of course, tailing this enemy ship as well, because hopefully by the end, and there we go, this is what I was telling you guys about surfacing. We've got a surface to recharge our batteries, so now this submarine is out of the water. Now, I believe, unless we're right up next to him, he still can't see us. Still hard to spot a sub in the water, even if it is above the water, but if he gets close enough, he will. And as you can see, we also found the North Carolina. We might want to save our torpedoes for him and try to get that 2 damage that we so desperately need. Oh, we've got another ship. Two more ships, my goodness. My goodness, the enemy battleship is absolutely doing a tremendous amount of damage here. And it looks like this guy's gonna try to escape. Probably the right idea. No, don't hurt her. She is my baby. I love that cruiser. Okay, once again, guys, so we're 5-12. I mean, we're getting there. We are getting there, but not quite. I'm, of course, going to submerge this sub, trying to be safe. Let's keep on moving towards the enemy. We're getting very close to the enemy battleship. Very close. In fact, we can already start opening fire on her. We're not necessarily going to do any damage unless we get some heavy guns in here, maybe some torpedoes, which is why I want to make sure to get those primary guns firing on her as soon as possible. Let's even move our support ship up. And really, this support ship is much better at just being a mine layer. She can certainly fire, but not the most effective firing I've seen. Let's go ahead and fire. All right, we want to sink the Colorado immediately. Be able to get a shot off? No, not quite. Okay, Okay, I think this guy's going to try to trail us. So we could go straight for the battleship. Looks like this fleet is already getting very close to them, but I'm not sure if that's the correct thing to do. I think we should probably focus on trying to sink this guy right here first. Let's just quickly ping. I'm gonna move our cruiser forward. Yes, this is definitely risky. Getting down to 2. Can we sink her? Oh, not quite. That's not good. Bring in the junkers. Oh, the Stuka never lets us down. This pilot has got to be given, I guess, the Air Force equivalent, or in this case, the Luftwaffe equivalent of an Iron Cross. That is incredible. Very, very good shooting. And actually, since he is part of the Kriegsmarine, even though he does fly a plane, he might get a Kriegsmarine medal. I'm actually not sure there. Okay, let's see. Did he just put a carrier in? Yes, I did. I did, chick. I did. Using carriers to track the American battle fleet. No, I think I probably could have been a little more careful. I was actually concerned about submarine activity over here, but you're probably right. I probably should have kept her away, even at the risk of maybe meeting a few subs. Let's take a look here. And right now, like I said, I'm just trailing this ship. I just want to keep her in my sights. And we can end the turn. Hear that ping? That's a scary sign. I think it could mean either the enemy destroyer is moving or we are detecting some sub-activity near us. We actually took not such a bad hit there. Yeah, don't fire at the Graf. Kill our destroyers. We don't care about them, but leave the Graf alone. They definitely sunk one of our destroyers there. No big loss to me. He's just going to have to join the rest of the ships at the bottom of the ocean. He didn't fight hard enough anyway. And it looks like over here our French allies are definitely encountering some serious damage versus the Americans. They've taken Rabat, but they still hold Casablanca. And I wonder how long they can hold that area for. Oh boy, might be time to call out our Messerschmitts from the Zahlgraf. So we're going to take the Messerschmitt out of the Zahlgraf. We'll move the Stuka into the Zahlgraf. I would hate for them to sink together. That would be a tragedy. See if a torpedo can do a little more damage here against the Wichita. Beautiful. And as you can see, you can't fire a torpedo with one of your ships in the way. So we've obviously got to move over here, perhaps. We're still trying to stay about 2 tiles away from the enemy, and we'll fire another torpedo. Beautiful. Okay, I definitely want to start targeting that battleship now. So I am going to get close to the battleship. Start firing here. It's going to take a lot to dent her, but I think we can make it happen. And let's get our primary guns here on the battleship. I'm hoping we can put a dent in this battleship. Oh, she's a tough one. We've got to get a lot closer. Oh, that was a mistake. Excuse me on that, guys. Not quite close enough to deploy our torpedoes, but that's certainly something we're going to need to destroy this thing. And we're still doing damage. We finally did some damage. Good shooting by the destroyer type 1936. Very good shooting indeed. As we get close enough to launch the torpedoes, I think that's absolutely going to damage this enemy ship. She's a resilient one, I'll tell you that much. We moved just about everybody. We've still got our beautiful submarine, and we can fire at the back of the enemy here. Hopefully by the end of this scenario, we take this guy out. He doesn't seem to realize that moving would be the best option in this situation, trying to escape from us. Torpedo bombers for that Colorado, we might have some. We're gonna have to purchase them. How's it going, Party Commissar? It's very good to see you. Glad you showed up, of course. Yes, aristocrats we're going to try now. Now, I haven't done that yet, but that would definitely be a good idea. So maybe I'm going to click the Stuka. Well, I don't want to click him because then he's going to be selected to go out. Maybe we do elite repair. Maybe we can purchase some sort of upgrade. I'm not sure. We can certainly purchase more ships, which is something that we might want to consider. Maybe get another cruiser out into the open water. So I'm going to purchase the Admiral Hipper, but I think we don't have enough command points, unfortunately, to deploy her. It's okay. Or him. I think you always refer to a ship as a her, but I could be mistaken on that. The Admiral Hipper would be a very strange name for a female in this case. Maybe we've got some Navy vets here that can tell us what the correct pronunciation would be. Zalgraf. You're going to be okay, Zalgraf, I promise you. Ah, here we go. Unit is equipped with bombs. Switch to torpedoes, guys. So we're going to switch to those torps. And oh yes, unit is equipped with torpedoes. Absolutely awesome. And I want to take a quick look here. We're going to have to keep her here for now. I will move the Zalgraf a little closer to our own men. Of course, the enemy battleship could decide to target her. We're going to go ahead and land, just to show you guys how these support ships work. We're going to land on that support ship. Just imagine landing there. Obviously, with a seaplane, it would be much easier, but it seems to me like it would still be a frustrating landing nonetheless. All right, let's get back here. End the turn. Oh no, I think the enemy might spot us. No, he finally decided to take off right when we were trying to kill him. And our Messerschmitt is going to be able to respond to this Wildcat pretty soon, but for now, he might be able to do some damage to our ship. We actually managed to do 2 damage with the Zalgraf's guns. So we know that the Zalgraf knows how to defend herself from air attacks. England does shooting. It's not very, very good, I must say. Alright, I think Casablanca is probably about to fall. They're being encroached on from 2 different positions. Nobody likes that, and this could prove to be fatal for the French. Nice shooting. I've got to give it to them. Very nice shooting. Once again, guys, for those of you that are new to the stream, don't forget to take a look at our YouTube channel. Also, don't forget, of course, here on Twitch, to subscribe, absolutely. And want to go just over the basics again of what's being added. And really, these mechanics don't just apply to Kriegsmarine. They apply to the entire series. It's going to really increase and improve naval combat throughout the Order of Battle series. Now, I could go really into detail with all these things, which I did in the beginning of the stream, but I'm just going to give you the basics, and that is firing efficiency and hit avoidance, new submarine mechanics, primary and secondary guns, so now you can switch between both, and the seaplane tenders. That's what this little Schnellboot is. Basically, a ship designed not as big as a carrier, of course, a lot cheaper than a carrier, but still designed to be able to arm seaplanes in this case. Not regular planes, mind you, but seaplanes alone, which definitely helps and increases their chances of staying alive if they're flying over the ocean. Let's go ahead and get the torpedoes, and I think we can actually start to damage the Colorado here. I can't wait to see her at the bottom of the sea. 2 damage. Great shot with the torpedoes. We could try firing torps here, but once again, we're just a bit out of our depth. So we're going to move to the front of the ship, and once again, you should always try to broadside the ship with torpedoes. In this case, we're going to the front, and I think we'll still get a pretty good hit. 2 damage, not bad at all. Let's get closer here. And look at this, guys. We've got the Arado in the hold, and actually, I messed up there, thinking that the Arado had landed on the Schnellboot. I don't think the Schnellboot may not be a seaplane tender. He landed on the Admiral Hipper. Remember, this is a seaplane, so he can land on more than just carriers, of course. Got to keep that in mind. All right, let's get closer here. Probably not going to do any damage to the support ship, but we might as well try. As you can see, not very effective against, especially against an enemy battleship, it's going to be pretty hard to do any damage. And one more turn before we get the ability to fire our guns, so I'm actually going to focus on the Wichita. It's a cruiser. Keep our Schnellboot away from him. Violence in battleship, why not? Sometimes you get lucky, sometimes you don't. Of course, it looks like our Graf Zeppelin could be sinking at any moment. I'm going to try to reinforce the unit as best I can. And we're going to, of course, bring this Messerschmitt forward to open fire. And this is a Dauntless. I thought it was a Wildcat, so I actually misrepresented that ship. Or that plane, I should say. Let's go ahead and try to do some damage to the Dauntless. He did just as much damage to us. Of course, we'll go ahead and keep firing at the Dauntless. One damage isn't bad, and I think at this point he's going to be pretty much ineffective in terms of the amount of damage he can do to us. We're quite a few tiles away. I'd rather get within 2. Once again, if we stay at the same distance, we'll actually do more damage. So I'm forcing my men to have to re-elevate or recalibrate their aim, and that's going to lower damage. So remember, distance isn't as important as well. Distance is important, but close range isn't as important as appropriate distance. In other words, if I'm 2 tiles away from the enemy, I want to keep those 2 tiles. I want to keep 2 tiles away from the enemy, but it's not a bad thing to maybe move over here. I'd still be 2 tiles away, but I would be a moving target next turn, making it a lot harder for the enemy to do any damage to me. So let's go ahead and move forward, and let's fire at the battleship. I've sunk your battleship. Not yet, but very, very soon. And of course, this poor sub is, of course, out of the water. He's got to recharge those batteries. So we'll keep following the enemy, but I'll keep my distance from 1 tile so he doesn't spot us, or else we're going to be dead pretty quickly. Let's take a look here. Yes, probably a good idea, Firefly Boy. We're going to do our absolute best. Yes. You guys, you are absolutely right. Good call, Schick. Support ships are not, fire support ships. Yes, totally understood. It's a good point indeed. Please launch Stuka before carrier goes down. Yeah, I'm trying to. I don't want the Stuka to die. I love the Stuka. So let's take a look at the carrier and try to get the Stuka out. Here we go. Unfortunately, he's in the cargo hold. Why can we not deploy him? We'd have to wait a turn to deploy. I certainly hope not. In the meantime, we're going to repair her. But yeah, let's hope that she doesn't get taken out. I have faith that the Graf Zeppelin cannot be sunk. It's unsinkable. How many times has that failed? Has that line failed completely? Trust me, it's an unsinkable cruiser. Nothing will happen to it. Don't worry. Everybody just remain calm. Remain in your seats, in your cabins, and calm down. Okay, Admiral Agrippa would not allow this to happen. End the turn. Casablanca will fall this turn. Could be wrong. Yeah, get out if you're dauntless. You can do no more harm to our ships. And our support ship is going to be less and less support worthy right now. Wow, the French are holding on. That's very surprising. Yeah, I think the support ship is finished. I think they had your plan in mind, my friend, but unfortunately, she is going down to Davy Jones' locker as well. Goodbye, support ship. This was a fun time knowing you. Oh yeah, they're sending in more reinforcements here. The French are really holding on like nobody's business, but I don't think that's going to last for very long. Oh my goodness, now they're being attacked on, they're being flanked from all sides. Oof. incredible. I can't believe the French managed that. Through the mazes, some Allied ships have managed to escape south into the Atlantic without the fuel reserves to pursue them. We expect to meet them in battle again very soon. And here we go, French pride. Greatly aided by German fire support, the French garrisons along the Moroccan coast, formerly part of the Western Allies, have managed to hold out longer than expected. We've got to give it to them. They have definitely held out for a very long time, although Casablanca will fall this next turn. I'm almost certain of it. It's very hard to avoid. Now, one thing I don't like here, got a few enemy ships here, and another plane, another Dauntless. So let's try to take out this battleship before they arrive. Look at this primary guns, and these primary guns are going to do some serious damage to the Colorado here. I feel it in my bones. Boom! That's what I'm talking about, baby. And let's go ahead and fire a torpedo here and sink this ship. I want to watch her go down. I want to watch her go down. That's right. She's gone. Ammo cache exploding there. And she is going to the very bottom, slowly but surely. It's going to take a while for her to sink, but I'm glad to see a dead battleship. That definitely gives me some pride to know that I was able to kill such a strong enemy ship in the. We go ahead and open fire here. And we got two ships here, which we could probably get some easy kills on. But some of these guys have to recharge their torps, so we need to keep that in mind. For those that don't, they're going to continue to fire. One of these rounds is bound to get through eventually. Now, this guy does have torps, so let's see if the 1936 can put a dent in one of these ships. Oh, yes, she can. Fire from here and hope for a good hit. This distance is pretty far. Of course, we're still waiting for those torpedoes to rearm themselves, and of course now we will get our beautiful Stuka out, and he's going to be a big help. Of course, I want to land my Messerschmitt, and I don't love the Messerschmitt as much as I do the Stuka. Of course, this is dangerous, but we're going to try anyway. Get a little bit closer here. Very soon, that Wichita is going to be sunk. No support for you, says Firefly Boy. No, it looks like not. That's awesome. Glad to hear it, Self-Searcher. Yes, this is definitely the DLC for naval warfare. Not just for naval warfare for this DLC, but of course, as you guys know, like most Order of Battle, DLCs, this is going to improve the entire game's naval warfare. So, every single one of the naval battles that you have in the entire game are going to be improved by this, and the hit detection system, the firing efficiency, the primary guns, they're all going to play a factor in every single one of the other DLCs. Yeah, they're not Americana torpedoes. Very cool. Welcome, Cranky Corvids. Good to see you. Okay, here we go. Just making sure we don't have anyone else to move. Got our beautiful submarine. Okay, we'll end the turn, guys. We're going to be attacked by the Dauntless for sure. And there we go. Casablanca is open for business for the Americans. And then someone made a Hollywood movie. Alright, let's see. Ooh, doing some nasty damage to the Schnellboot. Our battleship, 2 damage actually from the American destroyer. I'd say that's some pretty strong torpedoes there. A lot of anti-aircraft fire at the Dauntless, but he managed to do just fine. Oh boy, that was unbelievable. I did not expect that. 5 damage to one of our destroyers. That's pretty serious. And of course, one of our destroyers, unfortunately, losing that fight. Alright, Casablanca is in American hands. Of course, our job is not to worry about Casablanca. It is a secondary objective, I think, to protect the French victory point would be Casablanca. I could be wrong on that. But, and I will say this, our job is to try and damage the enemy fleet as much as possible so that it's completely useless for Operation Torch. That's our main objective. Let's see if we can go ahead and open fire. Try to sink another enemy ship. Nice. It's time for the Stuka to say hello. Wonder why we can't. Oh, that's right. We've got torpedoes. What's wrong with you, Agrippa? Oh. So, guys, I completely messed up here. Essentially, when you're firing the torpedo, you have to be at least one tile away. In fact, if you're using a plane to fire a torpedo, you must be one tile away, like somewhere over here. Nonetheless, at least our Stuka is still alive, and so is our Graf Zeppelin, which makes me very happy. We'll go ahead and repair the Messerschmitt, as well as repair the Graf Zeppelin. Move forward, and actually, we could probably kill this guy from here. No, you are a resilient one, huh? There we go, she's gone. And that was actually secondary guns doing the job there, so they're certainly effective, but not as effective as the primary guns. Like I said, you still need one turn to reload those primary guns, so it's not as easy as it seems. Let's go ahead and fire a torpedo with the Schnellboot. Not bad. Anyway, guys, we are getting to the end of this stream. I do want to thank everybody for showing up. I want to thank the Artistocrats, of course, for showing up. Master of Torpedo Warfare, says Party Commissar. Indeed. So there's limited battery time, as the Artistocrats mentioned, for the submarines, which means that you do have to surface. But the way that that's improved, the way that that's not such a bad thing, is essentially now, even if your submarine is above water, let's say you have to go to the surface to recharge your batteries, the enemy can only see you if they're one tile away. Now, this makes sense, because if you're on a choppy ocean, even if there's a submarine that is not totally submerged, you're going to probably not see it unless you've got some really good eyes, especially if you're a few kilometers away. You're not going to spot that sub anyway. Nonetheless, I really like that addition. It's excellent. And yes, you're right, Mithrandir. Primary guns are one turn of waiting. Torpedoes are 3 turns of waiting, etc. No problem, Party Commissar. And yes, they did an amazing job. They really did. Yet another awesome DLC for Order of Battle, and one that once again improves on the overall algorithm of their game of the Order of Battle series. I know all of you Order of Battle fans are going to want this one, so definitely put it on your wish list. This is a game you want to buy, definitely. And I hope to see you guys out on the Atlantic. Maybe we can have a few fights. Of course, I will probably end up flying over you and forgetting that I have torpedoes in my plane. This can sometimes be a problem. Nonetheless, I did have fun. I hope you guys had fun too. Don't forget to also join our YouTube channels at Matrix Games and Slytherin Games. And of course, yes, you definitely need this one. We're always around to answer questions, and of course, I'm so glad that the Artistocrats showed up to answer questions. They're excellent guys, and not only do they make great games, but they're always available to assist people in understanding their games, to answer questions, and that really means a lot. It really does. Oh, my grand strategy, more or less grand strategy game, way to go. Thanks, ahoy, says Two Nuts. Looks like we've got a lot of naval fans here, which is pretty cool. All right, guys, take care. Thank you for watching, and glory to the Kriegsmarine.